What is the ADA? The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, is a civil rights and equal opportunity law prohibiting discrimination against people with disabilities. In 1988, the first version of the ADA was proposed by the 100th Congress and the ADA Act was passed in 1990. That was way before the internet became the center of shopping, education, work, social networking, information sharing and life as we know today. The ADA was further refined and the ADA Amendments Act signed in 1988. The ADA is a law that looks out for the needs of people with disabilities. Giving everyone the same rights and opportunity is the goal of the ADA law. To avoid discrimination, employers and business owners must make reasonable accommodations for those with diverse abilities. Although websites aren't specifically mentioned in the ADA, they are places of public accommodation and as such are governed by the law. This has been upheld by numerous judges across America, who now demand that websites adhere to ADA guidelines. Websites follow the Web Content Accessibility Rules, WCAG, 2.1 since the ADA does not specify specific guidelines for compliance with websites. From the WCAG website, the goals of WCAG are defined, and I quote, WCAG 2.1 was initiated with the goal to improve accessibility guidance for three major groups: users with cognitive or learning disabilities, users with low vision, and users with disabilities on mobile devices. End of quote. Who is a person with a disability? As per the ADA, someone with a disability is someone who 1. Has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. 2. Has a history or record of such an impairment, or 3. Is perceived by others as having an impairment. Whether someone has a temporary or permanent disability, the ADA Act covers the rights of the person. The Act protects many disabilities not limited to the following: cancer, epilepsy, intellectual disabilities, autism, deafness or hearing loss, blindness or low vision, cerebral palsy, mobile disabilities and traumatic brain injury. The Americans with Disabilities Act has 5 different sections or titles, and the relevant section for business websites is Title 3, Public Accommodations. This section provides that, quote, businesses and nonprofits must provide people with disabilities equal opportunities to access the goods or services they offer. This includes restaurants, hotels, stores, theaters, schools, offices, hospitals, gyms, transportation, and more. End of quote. When it comes to your business website, how does the ADA apply to web accessibility today? Courts have interpreted Titles 2 and 3 as applying to web-based content and services, and even the U.S. Department of Justice has declared that business and e-commerce websites are places of public accommodation. This means that ADA compliance as per Title 3 includes access to websites that provide public accommodations, services, and/or other functions outlined in the Act. There has been a rise in ADA compliance lawsuits over the years involving both celebrity figures and local businesses alike. It is estimated that there has been more than 11,400 ADA Title III lawsuit cases in 2021, a 4% increase from 2020 and a 320% increase since 2013. Do you want to avoid getting hit with an ADA lawsuit? If your organization does business or offers public accommodations online, you must provide equal access to goods, services, and resources for all. And this includes your website. What is the difference between ADA, Section 508, and WCAG? 1. The Americans with Disability Act, ADA. This is a civil rights law in the United States that aims to protect the rights of people with disabilities, including right to public services, employment, and public accommodations. It applies to U.S. citizens and organizations. 2. Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 requires the federal government to provide access to its information and communication technology, ICT, facilities to people with disabilities. This applies to U.S. government agencies and citizens. 3. Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, WCAG. Web Content Accessibility Guidelines are the technical guidelines created by the World Wide Web Consortium, W.3.C, and apply to accessibility of web-based content. WCAG is the global standard adopted by the accessibility community, and the latest guidelines are contained in WCAG 2.1. How the ADA defines compliance. There is no universal compliance checklist outlined in the ADA itself to follow, but what is widely used is the U.S. Department of Justice guidance on web accessibility. This guidance referred to WCAG as the standard. WCAG has 3 types of web conformance that are required of web accessibility. 1. Level A, Basic Conformance. 2. Level AA, Intermediate Conformance. 3. Level AAA, Advanced Conformance. If there are no specific accessibility regulations that apply to your organization but want to avoid legal risk, incorporating WCAG 2.1a and ADAcompliance in your website is a pretty safe bet. Contact us today at ada@judydigital.com and let us help you meet this challenge. At JDA, we are here to help you meet your online digital transformation. Contact us today. Thank you all.